First person is joined. Two people now. So, what made you start a YouTube channel? Hey, Prosperous Potato. Trying to think what I said in a video about this before. So, one of the reasons, I guess, would be documenting everything I do as a reference. It's useful to have documentation, your own documentation, the way you do things. So that's one of the reasons. Also, I wanted to do something I didn't necessarily see other Linux desktop users do, which is have a desktop focused around the teletype term. Sorry. Have a desktop focused around the teletype terminal, which is kind of more unconventional. So that's one of the main reasons to sort of document that, because I hadn't really seen anybody else do it. That would probably be the main reasons. Down to one person now. Yeah, so I will be doing more OpenBSD setting up today. But of course, you know, ask questions, Linux questions, all one of you who's in the room at the moment. And then pretty soon, when there's, you know, a few more people in, I will do the actual BSD setting up. And what I'm aiming to do today is, well, I've kind of done it already. I've been playing around. I will set up doas, so that's the OpenBSD equivalent of sudo. And I will remove the console log that you get every time you open up Xeno or XenoDM, X Windows Server. And I'm also going to configure CWM. So I'm not going to use i3 on this, because the nice thing with CWM is it does come installed, and it does seem to be an interesting window manager, maybe a bit closer to DWM. And it's installed by default, which is nice. So obviously you don't have to compile it, and you can do it from a config file. You have to compile every time you change your config, but I think it's kind of similar to DWM. I might be wrong. I mean, it sounds similar to DWM. It's one letter in the alphabet away of the first letter, DWM, CWM. So It's got to make sense, surely. So yeah, I'm going to try and configure CWM. I might not get round to doing too much configuration on it today. It's namely, I probably won't have it set up as a tiling window manager today. It'll be more, I'll just test out the default key bindings and things and maybe just play around with it. Oh, and another thing, I will need to set up my xterm in the xdefaults config file. So a few things doing today. 3 people now. Yeah, so I'm starting a bit earlier than I did last few days, whatever. So maybe some people are expecting me to be on later. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it too much. I don't know. I feel I need to keep up with the Linux news of late, as it seems to be a lot going on. But I haven't really been keeping up. I guess I watch Brody's videos that sort of covers it, and there's others as well. But I feel like I'm missing out. All this OpenBSD stuff is taken over, kind of. And I guess while we wait as well, I have got a how much into Libre software are you? Well, good question, because I've mentioned recently about LibreBoot, and I've got on order, should arrive tomorrow, an ThinkPad X60 32-bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install 32-bit OpenBSD on it. Well, I'm going to LibreBoot it, install OpenBSD 32-bit. I'm also going to change the Wi-Fi card to a Pharos, Libre card or whatever, Wi-Fi card. And I'm going to sort of document that because I think that'll be kind of interesting. I kind of want it as like a learning experience as well, using 32-bit in the modern, 2025, using OpenBSD as well, which seems to support 32-bit reasonably well still. I know it's not their priority is 64-bit, but I think they're reasonably supported now. Also with this ThinkPad X60, it has an SSD, so I'm hoping it's going to be reasonably fast. Famous last words, it could be a disaster, but I think might be reasonably fast. It's got a Core 2 Duo and whatever, so I'm going to see how that goes. And yeah, I'm going to kind of document that as well. So, oh yeah, and that's the other thing. I'm going to try and aim to have it almost completely Libre. My other thought was maybe I'd do Hyperbola, which is like that weird hybrid distro. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'd regret that, but maybe I should do that. Because I think they've got a 32-bit image. Anyway, well, sky's the limit, really. So, and play around with that. Maybe I will start off with Hyperbola. I might regret that. I did, again, when I was speaking to they suggested OpenBSD, but connections. They did suggest OpenBSD. However, I did mention to them Hyperbola, which was at the time transitioning from a stable parabola or arch Libre distribution over to a strange hybrid OpenBSD, but with GNU licenses or whatever, all free software licenses. And their opinion was that it would be a disaster and that it was a bad move, but I don't know. It's probably not got too many developers on it, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna give that a try first, and then maybe document that. There's 4 people here now. I feel like I'll just sort of get into it. So yeah, I've already done a few things, so I'm just going to cover those because I feel I should cover those things, and then we'll see how we get on. So really, the first thing I want to do is, well, let's share the screen. There we go. Now I'm messing around with OpenBSD 32-bit at the moment anyway, but whatever. This is going to be interesting running 2 of them on this old ThinkPad. But start the 64-bit one. Okay. Right. Yeah, so the first thing I need to do is sort out do as. Which I've already done technically, but yeah, it might start up quite slow because I've got another OpenBSD running 32-bit version, which is running very slow on the virtual machine, but whatever. While it's doing that, let's just go back to chat. And 2 people. Oh well. Oh, looks like something's happening. Okay, so first of all, let's log in as root. I'm going to log in as root. Yep. Root. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we need to look at do as. So now do as, so if I look here, I'm in the root, but if we go into CD, etc., I think it's under do as. Oh, it's just do as conf. Okay. Do as conf. Let's go into that. So this do as conf is actually a copy of examples. So I'm going to show you that because it's quite nice. So if you look at cd.etc examples, if I ls that, you've got all these different examples, okay? And one of the examples is do as. So if I go into vim doas.conf, remember this is in the examples, okay? So what I can do, oh, not that, let's quit. So what you can do is, obviously you need to have do as privileges, or well, first of all, you're going to need to be root basically because you're getting do as privileges. So you can use the cp command, and you can see copy examples do as and then put it into etc do as.conf basically. Okay, and then that will create your do as conf. Okay, what I really need to do as well is set up like VI key bindings in this. I don't know how to do that. I presume they've got VI key bindings in the TTY on OpenBSD, but whatever. So let's go back into doas.conf. And so you've, like Arch, you've got the wheel group. So the wheel group is like the privileged user group. So this again is set up by default. You don't have to necessarily do anything here. Now, you can play around with this if you want to. If you want to look at the man page for doas, you can look at that and play around with that, or you can do the man page for, there's doas.conf. So again, you can play around, do whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to add my user to the group. Now, do they have like a search? Oh yeah, they do. So, so user mod. I don't know. Whatever. So let's see if I've got user mod in here. History. What history? Only 11? Oh, okay. So it's only from this session. Really? I need to look at that. So you know the usual user mod. So user mod is like your core utility. So you can modify your user. And usually you do user mod -g. So -g is for group, and then you want to put in your user. So in this case, I want to add my actual normal user. So my normal user is open test, and oh no, I want to add it to the group. So wheel, and then open test. Okay, and then that should do it. I think that's right. Let me just have a look. Thing is, don't do it that often. I never remember. So look. Yeah, I think that's right. It's just adding to the group. I'm just going to do it again. It doesn't really matter. So user mod -g wheel group, and then your user. And there's no output, so that should have worked. So if I do what's it? Group. I remember. Info. Is that right? Yeah. So as you can see here, the name of the wheel group, members, root, and open test. Fine, makes sense. Okay. So what that means is I should have the super user privileges for my open test user. It just means I have to put in my password. So this is probably good practice. So if I do log out, exit, and I log in as open test, put in my password. So let's say, for example, I want to update my packages. So you need to be sudo, or in this case, OpenBSD doas, okay? And remember, this is my normal user. So I need to do doas. Let's do pkg add, and I think it's -u. So it's asking for my password. And there you go. See, it's looking for packages. You wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't part of do as. Okay, so again, if I want to install something, so let's install Firefox. Okay, so if I do pkg add, I can't remember what command for install. I think it's you. I can't remember. Install. Should really have the documentation up. Update and anything. If package name is given, package will update and install packages. Okay, so that's fine. So if I do dash, oh no, I don't want that. So if I do pkg add -u and do Firefox. Oh yeah, actually, before we do that, I'm going to show you something. So pkg info, if I do -q, I think, Firefox, this will give you all the different versions of Firefox you can install. Now, this is kind of important because if, for example, you do pkg add -u Firefox, do as. Now, you can't do, one thing you'll notice as well, unlike sudo, you can't do as exclamation mark. So run the last command with do as. So I have to do it manually. So do as like so. Now it shouldn't install, I think. Oh, maybe it will. Maybe it's just updating it. Maybe if I uninstall. Let's do as pkg. Is it delete? Firefox. Hopefully I'm doing this right. Hopefully I'm going to break the system. Let's do a password. Okay, it looks like it's uninstalling it. Okay. So if I do, I don't think that will actually install. See what it does. Okay, can't find Firefox. Right, that's important. So the reason is because you need to give it the version. This is something you'll find in OpenBSD and probably other BSDs, depending on their package management. So what we need to do is we need to run package info -q and then the name. And this will give you like the latest, well, it will give you the packages. So I'm going to install ESR, or you can install, I guess the latest is 139.0.4. So if I do package add Firefox -139.0.4 for my password, problem finding. Oh, okay. Did I do that wrong? Did I spell it incorrectly? Okay. I'm not sure what I've done wrong there. pkg add. Let's do install. Maybe I don't need the U. Let's try that. Okay, that seems to be doing it. So what to say about that, really? Again, this is just, you know, learning here and trying things out. I probably won't do it perfectly. Let's see what chat is saying while that installs. Find chat. need to set the variable for persistent history. Okay, cool. I'll put that on my list of things to do. So that's sort of covering some package management, some do permissions. So the next sort of thing we should look at. We've got Firefox installed. Maybe let's sort out Xterm. I think I'm going to sort out Xterm next. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my Linux config for Xterm. That's probably what I'm going to do. So let's do X. Oh, it's X resources, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so Firefox is installed. So can I move this over to workspace 2? I thought I should. I don't seem to have got the same sort of control. I don't understand that. Anyway, whatever, it's not quite doing what I want. Maybe I'll send that over. There we go. We'll do it like that. So let's go vim x resources. And let's start off with xterm vt100 reverse video :true. Why have I got that duplicated? That seems odd. I don't know. xterm.vt100. Did I have to do that for some reason to make it work? I guess I'll find out. Don't even know. Face name. Liberation. Mono. Oh. I don't even know how this is going to work, to be honest. Size 14. 14. And alias equals true. Xterm vt100.font 7 times 13. Xterm.term name Xterm 256 color Xterm vt100 locale true. One's false, one's true. I don't understand what's going on there. Xterm dot vt100 utf8 true. Let's just leave it like that, see what happens. So I'll leave that. Let's go full screen. Oh yeah, let's go into X session. I'm just going to try do as I'm just going to try as i3. See what happens. Do xenodm. Do as xenodm. Okay, open test password. Does that look better? It doesn't really look any better. I don't think that worked. I don't really understand why. Oh no, I don't want that. There's pkill xenodm. Oh yeah, the thing I didn't really show you was how to get rid of that console log. So whenever you open up X or X Windows Server or xenodm, you get that console log thing, which I don't want. So I think to get rid of that, you want to sudo let's go vim, etc. Oh, what's it called? So do as vim, etc. x11, and then you want under xenodm, I think, x setup. Yeah, 0. Okay, put in your password. That's right. So if you look at this line here, so this won't be commented out by default, but this line here, console x console. Okay, you basically want to comment that out like so. Do that, and you shouldn't have X console anymore. So I'm just gonna go into this X session again and read only. CWM. Oh man, what have I done? Okay, don't do that, whatever that was. Dear, still doing that. I might have to kill this. Kill CWM. I think I want Control. Is it Control Alt MS? Control SQ window. What is that? Control Alt Q. Window. Ah, okay. We got somewhere. Still not right though. Do as. So what am I doing now? Next defaults. Maybe we should put it in next defaults as well. I'll take out that. Let's see match mono. No. I can't be bothered to watch my own video on this. But take out that. Take out that. DM. Open test. Kind of like that, but it's not really configured it, has it? It's not really configured. X term there. Okay, maybe I need to look at. I know what I'm going to do. Let's quit that. Okay, let's open Firefox. Let's get some documentation. Xterm setup for. Why is it doing that? No control now. I don't understand what's going on here. Way too much going on. So let's make this full screen. Let's search Xterm setup on OpenBSD. See what happens. Oh, no. Do I want AI? No, really. Background. Okay, that's not really helping. Xterm. Okay. So you can have that like that. So you can have your PS1 prompt like that. Okay. Oh, so you put it all in your KSHRC. Is that right? What text size? X defaults. Oh. I never understand like configuring X defaults or X resources. It just seems to change by the day. Oh, it's just so annoying. Do I have to really do this? Isn't this running slow enough as it is? Most of that is the same. Okay, that actually makes more sense. That's probably why. Oh, no. Some forum. It's probably better to use X defaults to configure rather than X resources because it doesn't require that the X resources reload when they change. Oh, okay. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. Let's quit Firefox. Okay, let's do as pkill xenodm. All right, come out of that. Okay, let's do X defaults. xterm.vt100.foreground white xterm.vt100 background black, FC match mono. Again, I don't know if this is all going to work in OpenBSD, but whatever. Let's just leave it like that. I'm not going to bother with anti-aliasing. vt100.font 7x13. Let's do xterm.vt.locale true. Why is one set to false? I don't know. Of course, this is all like Linux stuff, really. UTF, well, of course, it's probably on here as well, but I don't know. See what happens. Translations override. Do this. Control key minus smaller VT font. Control key plus larger VT font. Let's do. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but whatever. Let's do as Xeno DM. Open test. Looks a bit different. I don't know why the window spawned up there. Let's do as I'm going to see what it looks like in i3. Font looks a bit different, so it's kind of recognized that. If I take out X resources, and then we've got a delete 7 lines. What am I doing? There we go. Should I just open knife? No, you've got to do Xeno DM, haven't you? I hate graphics servers, I really do. Vim, that would help if I did it like that. Try that. Looks a bit different with text, but again, it's not. Probably because I haven't done it properly. Should have just put in everything it said. So small now. Anyway, let's see what chat's saying. If I can get to it. Oh, here we go. Do you know whether it's possible to compile a custom OpenBSD kernel? I presume so. I don't see why not, because it's open source, right? I'm sure it says in the documentation. Yeah. What's your favorite movie? Apocalypse Now. I did a video on my favorite movies. 32-bit OpenBSD is done. Let's just come out of that. PQ ZNODM. Do as Vim X defaults. That looks right. That looks right. Duration mono. Size 14. Ah, that would help. Equals 14. That would help if I did that. Okay, I'm just going to try that now. See what happens. There we go. Can't quite get the thing to do it. I think I need to mess around with that, but we're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere. So did I do override? I think I got to do that. So do as vim dot x defaults. Why is it not doing it? Recent. X. Do as vim x defaults. Okay. Authentication failed. That didn't work. Okay, it's looking better. It's looking better. Okay, so these things are obviously there for a reason. I did videos on all this. Try that. Should I reload? So I can do. Oh, no. Just do as pkill. Just load it up again. Maybe I will stick with i3. Maybe I'll do a proper one on CWM tomorrow or something, or whenever. I'm going to be busy tomorrow with this X60, so it's okay though. We once you've got your Xterm, your window manager, all sorted, it doesn't matter whatever you're using, you know, as long as you've got the basics, that's really this, you know, the most important steps. And we're kind of there for like the most basic things, which is you got the install, you got your TTY terminal, you got your keyboard set up, you can access the internet, you got your web browser installed, you've got, yeah, your terminal, your shell. I mean, that's the most important thing. Everything else is just, you know, personalization, customization, which is important. But once you've got this, you know, then you can feel like you can get stuff done. That's how I feel about it. And, you know, I can try out CWM, which I will, I promise. I do want to use CWM. That's how I feel I should use OpenBSD with CWM. But i3 works. Anyway, let's see what happens. So do as, so, you know, DM. Maybe it's, I think it might be the key bindings in this virtual machine that's making it play up. I'm not sure. Not sure. That's nice. I've got my terminals as they should. Got scroll bars. From the look of it, I don't really want that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into X sessions. I don't feel I need this stuff now. I don't feel I need that. X set root black. Yeah, that's fine. I'll leave that. Let's go into our config as well. Our i3 config. Because it's probably not going to do what I want it to do. And again, I did a whole video on, you know, i3, how I wanted it. What else we got here? Should I worry about anything else? It's just strange that it doesn't want to. I feel that's a key binding issue. Because control in this virtual machine behaves differently. Sure of that. Of course you can, I think. Did I not save that? I don't think I saved that. There we go. So I've reloaded that. That's better. Not quite what I want. What if I set it to 0? Will that make any difference? I guess I could go over my own video on it, but we're getting it. That's the important point. I don't want this to go on forever. So we've got Firefox. We've got i3 set up reasonably well. We've got Xterm kind of, but not quite exactly how I want. So I just can't think why it's not resizing. Yeah, I'm sure. Sure, you actually put the key, minus key, X defaults. Small VT font plus minus control. What if I do shift? Presume it's shift. Does PQL medium? I could have just sourced that, but whatever. I think you can just source these X defaults and whatever, but I don't know. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of graphical environments for these kind of reasons as well. It's just such a faff. Don't you think? Don't you think it's just like a huge faff? Oh no, I've got this border thing. Why have I got the border thing now? Anyway, can I make this bigger? No, it seemed to be. Oh. Okay, let's do kill again. You know what I've done? I haven't spelt this correctly, have I? Translations. Classic. Let's try again. Here's the DM. There we go. See? Just put it in correctly and it will work. Classic mistake. But hey, again, we're getting somewhere. I just need to X session just don't understand why I've got this bar now. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted that. Maybe that was a bad idea. So why doesn't i3 handle that? Or why isn't Xterm? I don't know. Does everyone after spawn? Okay, what if I put that in i3? I wonder. What if I put, I just can't remember what it was now. Can't remember what it was. Where did I get my default? Oh no. Sounds happening. Okay, kill this window. Kill. Don't want to quit the whole thing. Q. Why is it not killing it? There we go. I can't remember. And ZenODM. Conf. Oh, so you got nice little configuration for the greeting, whatever on ZenODM. Now, obviously, I don't care about the display manager side of it, but you don't want certain things. I just can't remember now where. Well, it's on their website, isn't it? Let's see, Firefox. So I can't remember. See what's happening in chat. Hi, Ahmed. Greetings to you as well. Run NeoFetch in the VM. Yeah, probably should. Okay, I'll run NeoFetch. I've never run, honest to everyone, I've never run NeoFetch in my life. I've never felt the need to run NeoFetch, but I'm going to run NeoFetch. I presume it's a package in OpenBSD. Okay. Shut this down. This one, anyways, the 32-bit one. Oh, it runs so slow. Right. Let's go back to this. Still asking me. Set default. Oh, I need to turn that bit off. I need something like devour or that horrible word swallow for the Windows, so it takes up the whole terminal. I don't know if devour is in OpenBSD. We'll have a look. And we'll kind of wrap this up after that, I think. We're getting there, aren't we? So i3 still trusty, still does the job. Just skill issues and user error, really. Right, OpenBSD. How's OpenBSD? FAQ. What do I want? Installation? No. This one. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Can you just copy and paste? I don't know what the copy and paste manager is like in this. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, yeah, middle click just works. Right. Okay, so do as vim session. Actually, I'm not going to put it there. I'm going to put that. Surely I could put that in i3, can't I? Every time I run a exit. What does that happen there? Is this going to work? I feel it's going to work. What has happened here? Okay, that's weird. I'm doing. Okay. That's a bit weird. What's going on there? Okay, let's just. Do I need exec? No. Let's do it like this. I don't know how it's going to affect my X resources, but whatever. SP. See what happens. Let's reload. Oh, error. Okay, that didn't work. I can't see the error. Maybe I should. Why? Extern. Side. SB. This option indicates that a scroll bar should not be displayed. Okay. Okay. Config. Oh. Let's just do it like that. Do Control R. Okay. Let's do that. Interesting. What's my X session? No, I think that's fine. Okay, let's try it again. See what happens. No, that's not good. stuck. What does that do? Exec. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to do exec. How do I get out of this? How do I get out? How do I force quit? Let's reboot. You're going to reboot. Yeah. I think we're getting somewhere. So, you could use set SID to unparent the window from the process, then manually kill the Xterm window. Okay. Me nodding along and not remember how I set this up all last time. Well, that's the thing. Once you set something up, you're not necessarily going to remember fragments of things. I mean, again, it's just a good learning exercise, see how it compares to maybe how you do it in Linux or whatever. Does OpenBSD have Wayland compositors? I believe, I'm not sure what OpenBSD does. I think FreeBSD does. I wouldn't be able to tell you. They probably do. I mean, it was interesting yesterday when I installed something. I can't remember what I installed. I also installed Wayland with it. So obviously there's a Wayland package in a generic Wayland package in OpenBSD, but I don't know. Something to look into. Okay. So what was I going to do? Last thing. Okay, I think I need to put exec on this. See what happens. Hopefully I don't break it. Looking good. How good is that? How good is that? Nope. So I've got larger and smaller. Nice. I've got no status, got no window thing really, except for that, which I could probably make smaller like I did on my other one, but that's pretty good. So obviously I'm not going to do CWM today, but in theory, or in a way, I've got a desktop set up now. I've got a OpenBSD desktop set up working with a web browser. What else do you really need? Working Xterm, you know, you install packages, uninstall packages, whatever you want to do, you know, script stuff, program stuff, whatever. It's all working basically now. So yeah, I'm just going to leave the setup stuff now. I'm pretty pleased with that. What else to say, really? Oh, there was one thing, wasn't it? Devour. So let's have a look at. Let's do pkg info -q devour. Have they got it? No. So I'm probably going to have to do, I don't know how you do i3 window swallowing, and I hate that term. Anyway, I don't know. It's all nice, that all working. Now, if you wanted like tiling add on, I guess you've got this thing called ports, haven't you? Maybe that's what you're going to have to do. Look at ports and install it through ports. It's like the AUR, right? But hey, it's all fine. So as you know, you've got to do the proper power off shutdown, which is not power off. You've got to do shutdown. Okay. So let's do shutdown. Let's clear that. Let's do shutdown dash. Oh no, do as. Now I'm on the user side. I've got to do as shutdown P now. Put in your password. Yeah. Look at this. I feel like a proper OpenBSD desktop user now. It'd be awesome if you could have sway on it. Yeah. Yeah, it would. But the thing is, I mean, being that it's OpenBSD, I'm going to assume that OpenBSD's X Windows server is what's it called? Is developed, unlike Xorg on Linux. I would assume OpenBSD are developing their graphical server for security, right? So what have they got? Xenokara? So again, I'm just sort of presuming that they're developing their whatever you call it, their X Windows server, unlike Xorg, which is, you know, been in the news, which is just a complete disaster, really. Patch set built on top of Xorg, not fork. Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, again, how does that compare development-wise? Do they just ignore it until Xorg release? Well, they don't release versions anymore. I don't know. I'm just assuming things about OpenBSD's developers that maybe I shouldn't. I just finished watching your top 10 movie list. It was good, but perhaps you should make a top 10 happy movies list. It's a good point. But, you know, if it's a good movie, that makes me happy, even if it's an unhappy movie. But I can see your point. OpenBSD Guy and Chimera DMB are great YouTube channels for OpenBSD content, highly recommended. Thanks, Ahmed. Now, funny enough, I have subscribed recently to Chimera DMB, mainly does music now, it seems. And today, the OpenBSD Guy. I haven't really watched any of his videos, but it looks like he's really good content creator. So, yeah, so I'm pretty pleased that I've got a working OpenBSD. Again, it's not really too much different. I mean, Xterm's much the same. i3 is the core. Well, Xterm is the same on there. i3 is the same. And it's just Zeno DM is a bit different. You've got that accession thing. I mean, it's not too much of a big deal. I set up Duaz. Duaz wasn't a big deal to set up. Not really too many drums. obviously like commands. Oh yeah, there is one thing. Now I've said this before, there's no LSBLK, right? But if I go back into it, actually no, I'm gonna save the LSBLK for next time. But of course you got to do like df-h to see what disk free, and then it will list out your block devices. And there's other ones as well, like dmessage, but it's kind of like LSBLK. Can you? LSBLK's on package add. I thought it said you can't get LSBLK. Oh, okay. I'm going to store this up for the next video. You literally just did it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Nice. So you can LSBLK. Well, this is the thing. I just assumed it was a GNU thing, GNU core utils. But have you seen any Satoshi Kon movies? No. No, I haven't. Are they good? I don't think I've seen any Satoshi Kon movies. I will be honest and say I'm not the kind of movie fan that I used to be. I haven't become like disillusioned with movies, but let's say all the movie news just is annoying. So that's I don't consume movies like I used to. I guess that's just life, you know. The priorities are different, but I don't know. Also, here's another thing. Like when you actually make things, and though I haven't made a movie, I've written a number of screenplays, and I think you find that if you consume, if you make things, it kind of dispels the mystery of what you're watching. Once you break things down, it's not so much a mystery anymore. Because that's the thing with movies or films, they seem such a wonder, and they are really. But even the act of writing screenplays, maybe I should turn off this full screen. The very act of writing screenplays is enough just to dispel like the mystery, and so it isn't so exciting seeing a film. And yeah, without being like really conceited about it and arrogant and pretentious, I kind of think what I make is better, even though I only do screenplays. Does that sound ridiculous? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too keen on anime, but I will look out for that. Thank you very much, Satoshi Kon. I will look out for his movies. Are you fine with telling us the nature of your job? Yeah, I mean, I'm not really doing anything interesting at the moment. I sort of switched jobs not too long ago. So at the moment, I'm just doing like admin kind of stuff and some other things, but I've got this week off work, so this is why I'm on here at this time. But yeah, nothing interesting. I've switched so many different jobs over the years. I've been like a customer complaints engineer for a car company, and I've done warehouse stuff. I've done planner jobs for, you know, work from home, and just all over the place. In theory, I was going to have a career in engineering, but it was just the company I worked for was just a disgrace, really. So that never happened, and I don't regret it. So you're actually in the IT space, kind of. I wouldn't really call it IT. My feelings are a bit like Chris Occhipinti. So if you ever hear him speak about, because he's clearly a very talented like programmer, I think he would be a very good developer. But if you ever listen to what he says he couldn't imagine being a programmer, developer, because it would be like the worst job in the world, making software for some company. It's interesting. He's sort of covered over the years where he was like doing his fire stations IT, like their websites, their web security, and building things for them. And then one day they got a professional in, and the professional did such a bad job. He was like hacking into the server because the professional wasn't doing proper web security and all this. And he came to blows with like the station manager. I think he did this on a video recently, and like it was just, you could tell it would be horrific for him. So, you know, I'm kind of the same boat. I would like to get into development of like small projects, maybe when I get this X60 and I Libre boot it, and probably have something like OpenBSD on it, on the recommendation of the Libre boot developer. I might look at maybe like maintaining small programs. Now, I shouldn't really say this because I'm setting myself up for failure here. I probably won't end up doing it. But I might have a look at what I can do to help support like forgotten programs. So I'm sort of interested to see how a 32-bit computer with an SSD, Libre booted on something like OpenBSD, works. At first, I kind of wanted to go like the parabola route. The only thing is like 32-bit parabola is completely broken. If you ever try and install it in a virtual machine, like it's just completely broken. That's all I'm going to it's so bad. But that's the good thing about OpenBSD 32-bit. But the only thing is I wanted to sort of go full free software, FFSF. So that's also why I'm thinking of Hyperbola, but I'm not optimistic about that. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to try it though. I'll let you guys know. I feel lonely in the free software community. Can't find people in the medical field like me. Most of them are tech illiterate. Okay, so you're in the medical field. What, if you don't mind my asking, what do you do in the medical field? What's the time? Time already. Still a student, med school, 3rd year. Oh, wow. Now, I'm going to be presumptuous. If you're a medical student, I mean, it depends what you're doing. If you're are you trying to become a doctor? That's going to be a long road, isn't it? 3rd year. Is it like 8 years for a doctor, depending on? Anyway, very good. Very impressive. Keep it up. Well done. Good profession. Oh, right. Yeah, I've watched Perfect Blue. I have seen that a long time ago. I see what you mean. If that's the same director, that is very Lynchian. It was a good film. Didn't they try and do like a live action film of it or something, and it was terrible? Or am I imagining that? Or a TV? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen that film. Was that from like 1996 or 8 or something, or 7? Thinking about installing OpenBSD bare metal on my ThinkPad T540p. Yeah. So here's the thing. What I will say about OpenBSD so far. Now, obviously, I'm not really daily driving it, but it seems to be all right as a desktop. I can't envisage any real problems with it. The only thing might be speed. Compared to, say, running Artix with Runit or Dinit or something, or even Arch with Systemd, I don't know how fast. It depends what you want. Depends what your... I mean, in a way, I still think Arch is like the good default. For a custom setup, let's say, with enough base packages to have a desktop environment, to have a running system where you can install your desktop environment, customize it to however you want it, and have it run fast. I mean, OpenBSD in a way is similar. You know, again, it's like good defaults for security. For security, it's got good defaults. It's already got the, you know, X Windows Server installed even. Even like encryption. I mean, doing encryption on Arch Linux is a bit of a faff. It's not that bad. What is it, LVK? Not LV. Lux, you know, Lux encryption, let's say, on Arch is a bit of a faff. You've got to get the UUIDs and all this, and that's fine. I mean, that's the way Arch is. And I guess Arch install, you can automate it, but you know, whenever I've installed Arch, I've done it the command line interface, and you know, you've got to go through that hazing period of just understanding what's going on. But with OpenBSD, again, it's kind of like a good default. If you want everything encrypted, it encrypts your root. You know, you don't have to really do anything. You just hit enter for the most part, yes and no. And you're going to have a good standard, let's say. You're going to have you know, I would say so. But yeah, I do quite like OpenBSD. It's just the whole XenoDM. I know why it's there. I think it's there actually because of Xterm as well. Something about Xterm can be like spoofed in some way, and therefore your password can be exposed. So you go through the XenoDM login manager before you start up the X server. So it's like a middle person, a middle piece of software that protects you. I don't really know. It's something I heard about it. But maybe OpenBSD is the way to go. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to find out when I run the 32-bit version. Thinking about, what was it? What do you think of it? What do I think of Perfect Blue? I've only seen it once a long time ago. I thought it was a good film. Very David Lynchian, I guess. It was good. Hi, nice work. Thanks, Neil Kill. Do you think Luke Smith has switched to OpenBSD or still running Artix? I think he's still running Artix. If you look at his GitHub, He's still like doing merge requests, but I don't know. Maybe he has. Of course, since he's returned to YouTube, he hasn't really made any technology videos. I mean, he talked about Free Software Foundation, or he talked about, you know, I can't remember the name of the video, like Bitcoin, and you know, people whose approach to it is not necessarily good for their respective projects. So like Bitcoin being used as, you know, speculation, let's say, and with the Free Software Foundation, people ragging on them, giving them a hard time. However, I mean, the problem with the Free Software Foundation is, I'm not saying they become irrelevant, but we all know their influence is a lot less because a lot of the battles they fought, they've won. And as we know, whether again people like it or not, Linux is a huge commercial, so many commercial operations depend on it, or so much of the commercial world depends on its servers and all kinds of things. And of course, it gets a lot of money invested in it through, you know, big companies like Microsoft and Apple, I guess, Google. So I don't know. But yeah, sorry, I didn't really answer my own question, which was, yeah, I felt a bit of a pang. I felt that I had to look at trying to do some more Free Software Foundation-esque stuff, like get a LibreBoot computer, LibreBoot a computer. Like, now I know there's been a controversy between LibreBoot and the Free Software Foundation, but again, just being in that sort of space, I feel I should have like a redundancy computer of sorts, or what's the right word, like a free software-esque computer. Now, I'd like a proper free software-esque computer, and in 32-bit, because like the X60 was like the first LibreBoot computer, and you can get an X60 in 64-bit. I imagine that's quite rare, but and also I just want to like see what's possible with a minimal 32-bit distribution, which are becoming fewer and fewer. And OpenBSD might be the only real solution, or the only one that really works. However, Parabola is just completely broken on 32-bit. Like half the packages installed, you know, you're doing the base strap or whatever, half of them installed and half of them just completely broken. Like PGP keys, everything, nothing you do could fix it. And I was just thinking, well, if that's how it's going to go, it's just, well, I understand they're not going to be wasting their time. They're not going to be spending their effort doing the 32-bit version of Parabola, which probably in a 64-bit probably struggles for maintainers. You know, I understand that, but it seemed like there's so many packages that just were broken, basically. Whereas I think from the look of it, OpenBSD 32-bit doesn't have that problem. But here's the other problem, which is I want it to be, you know, free software distro. And obviously OpenBSD isn't. Not because I'm not trying to make a huge principle on it. But I think if I'm going to Libre boot something, I just think it's good practice. That's, you know, a bit like Luke Smith said, aiming to do that. But hey, I aimed to do that trying out on a virtual machine, Parabola 32-bit, completely broken. Debian 32-bit, of course, isn't technically FSF approved. It should work all right, though. Again, Debian, although they probably don't do much development on the 32-bit side, it tends to work well last time I remember. So I don't know, mate. I guess what I need to do is try Hyperbola. See what happens. See what happens. It might be all right. It might be stable. Even though the LibreBoot developers said to me it would be a disaster a couple of years ago. They'll make a mess of it. Maybe they have. I don't know. And I get the impression it's a really, really small project, even smaller than Parabola. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it on a virtual machine, and I'm going to, if it works in a virtual machine, I'm going to probably try it on the X60. The only thing is I noticed with their disk image or their ISO, they didn't separate the 32-bit from the 64-bit, which was odd. Maybe that's why the size of the image was so, the image was like 1.2 gigs, and I don't think it comes pre-installed with desktop environment. Maybe it does, but yeah, it seemed a bit odd. Seemed a bit odd. That's the only thing. I must admit, I don't hold out much trust with their package availability. But here's the other thing with the FSF situation. If you're going down that route, you again, it's a compromise. You're going to have to accept. Well, it's not a compromise that you're taking this position, but it's a compromise of, well, you're not going to be able to do what you used to be able to do. So I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably wrap this up in a few minutes, guys. So if you've got any final questions, we're nearly been going 2 hours. If you've got any final questions, put them in the chat. Hey, Iron Fist. I apologize, got disconnected. Yeah, med school is long. I will graduate in 2030. Okay, so another 5 years. Yeah, so, oh well, I'm sure it'll be worth it. So hopefully you'll be very successful, and hopefully you enjoy it. In fact, I'm going to download Hyperbola now. See what happens. And hey, maybe I'll let you know tomorrow what happens with Hyperbola. Yeah, so again, I'll probably go in the next couple of minutes. So if you've got any Linux, OpenBSD, or any questions or discussion points, let's put them in now. Right. Pixel Neck Geek. Running OpenBSD as a daily driver for 2 years now. The BSD is basically what Linux distros used to be from the 90s to the early 2000s. Nice. Well, this is the thing. I want more of a Unix feel, but well, I don't know. But again, you know, Arch Linux, to be fair, is a good default. But I do have my suspicions the way. Here's the other thing. Now, I know this is probably a bit of an overreach, but with the way things are going with like snaps, flat packs, and app images. Now, it's probably not going to necessarily matter to Arch. I think they're always going to be packaging things, but just the way things are going, I just, again, want to build in some future proofing. If it all goes wrong with Linux, then I know we've got the BSDs, you know, and I've got a working OpenBSD setup that I can use that I like. Almost as a drop-in replacement. Again, there'll probably be things that I want to do or can't do. I don't know, but that being said, like I did the video, Unix is sort of more important to me than the kernel, because I'm not fussed about. I'm actively the opposite of trying to support modern hardware. Because of, to me, the whole, I know there's good reasons for UEFI, but the whole thing with like UEFI, secure boot, and all this stuff just annoys the hell out of me. And if you ever watch, was it Low Level Learning? Now, again, it's like confirmation bias, but wouldn't there like some secure boot hacks or something that basically could never be fixed? Or UEFI hacks that could never be fixed? Like, it's the software situation for UEFI, the firmware is so bad, that's so badly written that, you know, it's ironic that BIOS is probably better. I don't know. I don't know. I just see, you know, a lot of this stuff is sort of before my era, but like, you know, going back to, it's not before my era, but, you know, looking back, it seems that we've, you know, again, speaking about the FSF, you know, we have actually started to forfeit a lot on the hardware level, I feel, with UEFI, secure boot, TPM modules. You know, look how difficult it's been for LibreBoot to new computers, right? And somebody's saying here, like Prosperous Potato, saying about buying a T480, which is like the latest model of ThinkPad that they've managed to LibreBoot, and that's what, already like 7 or 8 years old now. I mean, again, for people like us, it's not a big deal. You know, it's probably like, it's like running a supercomputer for the stuff maybe you want to do, maybe except for gaming or whatever. But I mean, it's just a terrible situation, really, hardware wise. So I don't know. Would you consider buying a ThinkPad T480 because you recently got LibreBoot? Yeah, so I've kind of done a video on like the ThinkPads I like, and anything older than, at a stretch, an X220. I'm not even a fan of the X220, you know. I don't like 16:10 is my limit for screen size. I don't want, or ratio, I don't want 16:9. In a way, I deal with horizontals, so screen split horizontals for me are more important than verticals. And so like the old 4x3, perfect. And that's also going to be a nice thing with the X60. But 16:10 is my real limit. At a push, I'd use an X220. My ideal ThinkPad is probably a 200, X200 with LibreBoot. And I've covered it before. I had a chance to get one that had was the S with like nice screen and that. LibreBooted, the condition of it looked fantastic. It was a reasonable price, and I didn't get it. I even got a discount offer on it from eBay, from the seller. So foolish, but it's what it is. Again, it's not, these things aren't like the absolute end of the world, but I think if you take this stuff semi-seriously, I think you should probably have a LibreBoot laptop in your back pocket, running FSF or as close to as possible. If you can. I think it's just, you know, you shouldn't have to spend a stupid amount of money. Again, you can tend to find them on eBay already LibreBooted. You can LibreBoot it yourself if you're confident enough with opening it up and getting all the stuff. I'm not necessarily confident with that, but I you know, it's like anything. There's so many instruction manuals and whatever. Would you ever get a computer with RISC-V CPU? I don't know. I always find with like RISC-V or RISC-V or whatever, so all these promises about how, I don't know, it just seems to be like all this optimism about it and never materializes. I don't know, or in the real world, I don't know. So would I? Maybe in the future. No, I just think computer hardware is just a disaster, really. From phones to laptops. For normal people don't care. I understand that. It's the graphene of the tech world. Yeah. It's like anything. I think if in relation to like computers and software or anything, whether you're like into motor cars or whatever, depends how much control you want. The thing with computers is you spend so much time using them. Even if you're a normal person, you're probably going to be in an office job where you have to use them all the time. And you've got almost no control. Maybe if you're a developer, programmer, you've got control. You usually haven't got any control over your, let's say, your work environment. And so outside of work, obviously for me, I'm doing a lot of screenwriting, and that's my primary focus. And I'm not willing to accept basically a Microsoft desktop environment anymore, or a Mac or anything. That's the whole reason I use what I use. Now, obviously, it's become sort of more than that, because I do feel, because I've got a channel that is, well, obviously thanks to you guys, but has some interest in the Linux world. There are people who watch my videos, there are people who do the Patreon even. So I feel like I've got a bit of a responsibility to give back as well, with tutorials, with doing something different. I don't just want to do the same things, even if it's not popular. Like, put in perspective, my OpenBSD videos are probably not going to be popular, but they might be the most important videos I ever do. I feel the TTY videos are important, but if I'm doing ones about the LibreBoot X60, which you probably won't find many videos online actually about, and trying to use free software or doing my best. I mean, are you going to see videos? I haven't looked, but I don't think there are X60 videos on like Hyperbola. That's what I kind of want to do. I want to make videos that people haven't seen, that might make them think, even if it's not something they would personally do, but it might think, okay, this approach, might work for me, and I can do my own version of it. I don't know. Even if it, only a handful of people. Anyway, so this has gone on probably too long, this stream now. So let's have a look. I think Apple One computer with the Apple Silicon, maybe one day we'll have the equivalent. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impressive, their Apple Silicon designs, I must admit. Low powered ARM processors that are quite powerful, but still never going to use an Apple computer. Well, I've used an Apple computer and it was horrific. In fact, it was an insult. Literally, I think I mentioned this before. I wanted to install a printer, and Apple said, okay, we can't find the printer driver, but if you can find the printer driver, install it. Okay, so I found the printer driver and literally installed it. And then right at the end, it said uninstalling because this printer driver hasn't been updated. You need to, you the user, you need to go back to the manufacturer and tell them to update the driver. That's basically what it said. You're not going to install this driver. So this computer that you probably paid thousands of pounds for, a printer that you've paid all this money for, you've had to do the work to find a driver. Apple haven't done it for you because it's not in their repository. And at the end of it, they're like, no, you're not installing that. you'd have no control. I mean, it's even worse than any computer experience. You are not even allowed to install a printer driver. You and I, everybody knows that no company maintains their printer drivers. And is Apple a bastion of security? I don't know. All I ever hear is that they do stupid things. I'm not, from security experts. Now, again, I mean, they've got a lot of users, but some of the devices just like they have lots of IoT devices that are just riddled with security flaws. And yet they're telling me I can't install a driver for a printer. Even if it were true, even if Apple were right in saying you're compromising your security, it's my computer. If I want to do that, I'll do that. Obviously not. So that's why I'll never, it's just, again, there's things like that. You don't need that kind of, like, for example, I've been running Arctics or whatever for years now, and generally no problems. So, forget all like it breaks all the time. I know what's best for me. And if it was breaking all the time, or if it was restricting me all the time, or I couldn't do what I need to, in fact, it gives me the option to do exactly what I want to, have the environment. So the hours I spend are the least horrible. If I need to do some work on it, it's the least horrible environment. It's not perfect. Of course it's not, including the hardware. It's the X201, so it's not Libre booted. I can still do what I need to do, but obviously, anyway, there are effectively no real restrictions in any real sense, that those restrictions that matter, that are, dictated to me by Arch Linux, let's say. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. Maybe one day we'll have the equivalent. Yeah, maybe. Asahi Linux. If I was going to use an Apple, maybe I'd use that. Although, again, I'm not going to be buying an Apple computer, I don't think. All right, cheers, guys. Hopefully I'll be on tomorrow. I might be busy tomorrow with the X60, so I might not be on. But who knows? Maybe I'll do a quick stream to show off the X60, show if I've got it Libre booted. Maybe I've got Hyperbola installed on it. I'll probably just show you that. But the important thing is, which I wanted to do today, I've got a working OpenBSD with a graphical environment and a TTY. And obviously there's lots more to do on it, but it works. So that's the important thing. And everything is sky's the limit from there. So I don't know if that's useful to anyone. Seems like some people here have got OpenBSD running for years, so that's great, but there might be somebody who finds it useful. I know it's kind of useful for me because of future proofing. Anyway, this has gone way too long. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you later.